Call the meeting, Uvalde County Commissioners Court, Monday, August 11th, session. I'd like to stand for the prayer. Father, we come before you this morning and we praise you. We give you all the praise and the honor and all the glory. We thank you for the community and the people who live here. We thank you for the opportunity that you give us to serve you by serving our citizens. We also ask that you continue to bless us and all that we do. Father, we ask that you continue to bless America. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Jump down to item number 3 before we take up item number 2. Item number 3 is to consider an act upon an order authorizing the issuance of up to $9,900,000 in combination tax and revenue certificates obligation, Series 2025, for the purpose set forth in the county's notice of intention, providing for the payment of the levy of an ad valorem tax, further secured by pledge of certain revenues for the county's solid waste management system and other matters of connection therein. This is the matter that we've been discussing for quite some time about issuing COs, 9.9 million. We're online right now with our governor, and he is going to go ahead and accept the bids this morning if we approve this. Is there any discussion on this matter? We do have one person I agree. Make it.
Good morning, we have I come before the court this morning to express concern about these certificates of obligation. As you know, these are certificates of obligation that will put this community, this county, into almost a $10 million debt. And this is not going to the voters. You as Commissioners Court get to decide. I think that kind of debt should go to the voters, and unfortunately, you're choosing to go a different route, which completely leaves the voters out to decide whether or not this is a debt that they want to carry. You get to choose the projects. Taxpayers have no say. When I looked at the list of the proposed projects for this debt, I see that almost $500,000 are being allocated to provide vehicles to our constables. I looked at the salaries of our constables. These gentlemen are making very good wages, and the legislation does not require this Commissioner's Court to provide vehicles for them, so I'm very confused as to why now you're deciding to do so. Are they going to be owned by the county? Or, I mean, you probably are going to own them, but you don't need to provide them. There's no need to spend those dollars on our constables. You're pledging future dollars. Our property taxes keep going up. You're basically shackling us to more taxes because this is future debt. How many years? 25, 30? You're putting debt on our children and grandchildren. We're never going to see lower taxes. We're never going to own anything clear and free because we have to keep paying taxes. And on this particular issue, we're paying taxes for debt that you're choosing to place upon us. You are basically creating generational debt for many of the citizens of Uvalde County, and that's on you.
Jack Devine is here from Tamco. Jack, would you like to say anything for the court?
Yes, sir. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be back in Uvalde County this morning. We had great results in the market. You came in, the city received 5 bids, lowest of which being from DOK Financial Securities at a true interest cost of 4.06. We modeled all of these numbers at a rate of 3.5% to 5% interest rate, so this comes in well below all of our proposed modeling that we did for this issue. final numbers will have, the county will have $9,750,000 in their project fund. That money will become available in just about, give or take, a month. And you'll be able to spend those funds at that time. And the average debt service for this issue will be roughly $750,000 a year of annual debt service, going out for until 2045. And with that, Samco's recommendation is to accept the BOK Financial Securities bid. And with that, I'll open up for any questions you may have.
Any questions, Jack? You've heard the explanation, the recommendation, is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve the county's certificate.
Motion to approve, is there a second? I'll second that. Motion and second, discussion.
I'll just point out, talking about voters being able to have input. We've had, every year since I've been here, and even prior to my coming on board, the county has actually kept the rate average or reduced the rate of the tax rate itself. So we've never increased while I've been here, the rate even when we borrow from the net cost from the rate. Number two, there's a fixed percentage of 3% to 3%. If we're not exceeding that in debt service, there is no requirement to go to the taxpayer for items that are less than 3% of the increase in debt service. So that's one of those 2 points. More than 4% historically is a very competitive bar.
Further comment?
Yeah, I want to go ahead and clarify what Mr. Wu mentioned about the council vehicles. That's something that we choose to do. It's going to be something that's mandated next year. And I think we're using the seals at the head of this because we won't be able to afford it in the general fund. It'll be a little hard for the court to be able to afford it. So it is going to be mandated. It's not something we just want to do. Just want to clarify that.
Further comment? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, sir. And I will be back shortly with the bid forms not signed. We're still waiting on those to come.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Item number 4 is consider an action on a public hearing regarding the creation of ESD 3 pursuant to the Health and Safety Code 775. On July 14th, the court accepted the petition seeking the creation of ESD 3. The petition was referred to the legislature for certification. After certification, the court called, after certification today, we will call for a public hearing. And also after the hearing today, we'll call an election of the court association. We have 6 speakers that want to speak for it. We'll start off with Hector Luevo, Mayor.
Good morning, thank you, Judge. Good morning, members of the commission. I come here, not as a mayor, as a citizen of Uvalde. I come before this court to ask that the petition brought before you to establish a new tax entity under the title Uvalde County Emergency Service District Number 3 not be accepted. Due to its deficiencies and lack of information as required under the Texas Constitution Health and Safety Code Section 775. The Health and Safety Code clearly outlines the requirements for a petition for initiating the steps and the process for a petition. Simply put, what you have before you this morning is a flawed petition presented by the proponents of this petition. Section 775.011 describes the first steps that are needed for the creation of the petition by the code. The county judge must first receive at least 100 qualified voters who own taxable property in the proposed district. The qualified voters in the proposed district have been verified by the county board of administrators. Great. However, the qualified voters who claim to own taxable real property in the district have not been verified. There are at least, I found, 24 of the people who signed the petition and claim to be property owners in the proposed district were found to be unverifiable as tax-paying landowners. The petition had incomplete addresses. You have a copy of the petition. All you have to do is look at it, review it. Incomplete addresses. There is at least one petitioner that provided only a name, nothing else. That is not acceptable. Several petition forms that were used lacked a proper heading on the petition itself that conveys to the signer what the main goal and the purpose of the petition. Only a blank sheet of paper with space to be filled in was presented to the petitioner to sign. Nothing else was on that paper. Again, it's in the petition that was presented to you. There are at least 3 petitioners who failed to date the petition. When was it signed? We don't know. Again, it's in the petition. These were very simple steps that the proponents of this petition need to follow to be compliant and just do it right. They have failed. The requirements were not met. The proponents of this petition, in their haste to push this petition through the court, have failed to meet the minimum requirements of this petition. Therefore, I ask the court to dismiss and not accept this petition as it is presented to you. Thank you.
Next speaker is Jared Knapp.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Thank you for having me here today. So, my name is Jared Kapp. As you all are aware, I've been working on a development project for a couple of years now that both the city and the county have been involved with. There's an acreage directly adjacent to the city limits, which is in the ETJ of the city, that would fall essentially within the boundaries of this new ESD that's being proposed. The concern I have that I've brought before City Council and is now bringing to you is that in past years there's a process by which when the city annexes land. So at this time we have, so the TERS was approved earlier this year by both the county and the city. At that time we had already filed a petition for annexation with the city. And there's a series of steps we have to follow from that point to finalize that process to complete annexation. So we're in the middle of that process, but have not been able to complete it. In past years, upon annexation, it was a very simple process that the city would go through to ask for removal from the ESD to then bring it into the city and tax the city property versus outside of the ESD property. The current legislature passed some new legislation that makes that process more difficult and somewhat questionable. It's not an automatic thing anymore. So what I had requested, I spoke to Judge Mitchell about this, was that the court consider amendment to the legal description before you in the proposal to go ahead and exclude the TERS property from the ESD. As the current petition reads, the municipal city of Uvalde is excluded, but their ETJ is included. As I said, this property is in limbo. It's currently in the ETJ, but it's in the process of being removed and brought into the city limits. So my request, in order to avoid any potential complications as we proceed with those steps involving the TERS process, would be a slight amendment to the legal description to also exclude that TERS, the boundaries of the TERS from what is being proposed in the ESD today. Thank you.
I applaud Hector Levino for coming before the court very well prepared to request that you not accept this petition and not move it forward. Last time they were here, I had similar questions about who had verified, confirmed, and attested to the fact that every person that signed that petition owned property in Uvalde County. I went through the last petition myself and found several people that did not. Mr. Levino did the same thing this time and found several people that are not. All of the things that he raised regarding the petition are very relevant, and this court failed to accomplish the due diligence by accepting it when you did. It's a very critical part of the legislation, it's a requirement, and it was not met. Hasn't been met, because the only letter in that package that you put out was the letter from Melissa Jones attesting to qualified voters. And nowhere in any of the paperwork is there attestation to property ownership. And so I don't know how this court can move forward with the petition. What I do want to say is I respect and admire every single gentleman that is in this court today that is a volunteer fireman. The services you're providing our community are invaluable. They do an excellent job. I'm proud to be able to say that they serve us, they serve me. And it's never been about not recognizing that we need good fire services. For me, it's been about we do not need another property taxing entity. We are already beyond capable of meeting what we currently need to pay, and you're asking us to add to that burden. How can you do that? You're supposed to represent the citizens of this county, and all you ever do is add burden upon burden upon burden. And citizens will tell you, where do I see the benefit of that burden? And they don't.
Keith Southern.
I'm a member of the Uvalde Volunteer Fire Department. I would ask that y'all would approve the, and send this to ballot for the ESD 3. As a fire department, Uvalde, Reagan Wells, Canipa, Savannah, we do the best of what we can. A lot of times it's not enough, but we make it work. And to say the truth, it's we need some help in getting our fire service up and stuff. I don't want to say that we can't do the job. A lot of the times the equipment we have, this average fleet year is like 40 years old. It makes things really tough. There's times we have a lot of equipment out of service, and it's, are we going to be able to handle anything that might come this way? I guess we just need some help, and I hope the citizens can see that. The tax rate will be a maximum of 10 cents per $100 valuation of taxable value. I think that's the maximum the state says. It's very low. I think the junior college at this point is already higher than that. It would be the third lowest tax rate at its maximum. We don't have control over that rate. The ESD board would, but I know certainly we would not be seeking the maximum tax rate. But hopefully that's up. So I'll go to the ESD board. We don't control that. And I guess that's about all I got. I would ask that y'all listen to this ballot. The county, the last election voted, and the citizens of the county wanted it. It was the city who the voters that didn't want it. So the county wants to see better fire services, especially in the smaller rural communities. So I would ask that you let the voters decide on this. Thank you.
Max McCollum.
Max McCollum, firefighter in Uvalde, Canipa. I am the training officer in Uvalde and the athletic director in Uvalde. You've heard many things, and you're going to hear many more things about this petition in front of you. I do believe we did our due diligence. I believe we worked hard on it. I do believe there's an acceptable margin of error, and I believe 9 out of 129 is an acceptable margin of error. We don't turn people away when they want to sign something. We're here to let people know we're here for everybody. Just like the CSD is here for all the communities and all the counties that surround the area. We plan on working together. We plan on using this to make the future of Uvalde safer, not just for its residents, but for all of us that pass through education here. There's been a lot said. All fire departments are here working together. We're very interested in helping each other. There's just a lot going on. We really appreciate your support, and we ask that you let the voters take this. I know it's been brought up to
certified fire chief for Reaganville Volunteer Fire Department. Number one, I'd like to thank the Commissioners Court for supporting and granting us the opportunity to continue to provide fire service in our area. We were created in 2006. We didn't even have a fire department in Reaganville. We organized in 2006. How we got started, we were fortunate to apply for the Texas Forest Service for a truck they had. It was available, wasn't being used in another department. So we were granted that truck. We went all the way to Cottonwood Shores up by Marble Falls to pick that truck up. It was one that had been used by Fredericksburg, and it went to Cottonwood Shores, and then came to Reaganville. And then it finally got taken off the books. It's about a 1972 model, so I know about the older model vehicles. We've been fortunate, we organized, that was the first truck we had. Then we got a truck from Toronto, Cape Toronto, down by Refugio in Uvalde. Well, that truck was washed off in a flood. The thing now, we had insurance on it, so we were able to get a little bit of seed money to start our fire department. I'm going to tell you that I'm not against the ESD. I think it's a good funding it's an opportunity if it is needed. But I think every department needs to look at their own finances and see what financial shape they're in before they go and try to create a ESD and take it in our county. As for Reaganville, currently the situation we have, and we appreciate the $4,000 y'all give us every year. It goes to help pay our insurance, the maintenance on our trucks, repairs on our trucks. We just got to spend $12,000 on the truck. We didn't come to anybody asking for any help because we were fortunate because we have had people who have made donations. We go out and help people on control buttons. They make a donation to the fire department. It's been very helpful. The thing that I do have a problem with, with each one of you concerning this petition. The petition put together this year, I got a phone call. I didn't even know about it. I got a phone call one mention. I asked me to sign the petition because they were in a hurry to get the numbers they needed. And I volunteered. I said, yeah, I'll sign it. I'm not playing. But I am not speaking on behalf of Reaganville Volunteer Fire Department. But I think if we're going to put together 30 seconds, if we got to put together an ESD, I think every fire department in the county that's going to be affected should have input as to getting the petition done, not just one department. And so I know that Reaganville has never had any input whatsoever about being part of the ESD. And so when we saw our name in the newspaper that we were part of it, we said no. If they can exclude the city of Uvalde, then Reaganville, people the rest be excluded as well. So we're happy with what we've got. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes all the speakers we have for the public hearing. So at 10:25, we close the public hearing. And we'll go to number 5 on the agenda. And that's consider an act upon the creation of ESD 3. And if created, it will call for correction. Any further comments regarding this issue? I would like to proceed.
I do have a question for Mr. Dodson. So, some of the comments that were made, I think we need to clarify a little bit. So, if I understood correctly, there was 129 signatures, of which roughly 9 could not be confirmed. Over that's still left is 120. I know that the mayor's suggestion is, and Mrs. Screw, that there wasn't any verification of somewhere in the neighborhood of 24 that they couldn't find on UCAT. But I would proffer to you that there are 2 obvious things that come to mind immediately. My circumstance where I know one of the signatures, like myself, has no property in his name, but has in his corporation. So I have multiple properties coming down to that home. As a shareholder of a company that is my wife and I, or real estate, so that will not show up. So that's one mechanism by which some of these proposed numbers that are not there are there. The second thing that comes to mind is if you're a spouse, many of the properties that I have in the past, I have a wife who stayed home, was never listed on the deed, but as a community property, it's a property owner of said property. So I guess my deal is I take the point that we probably should verify these properties, whether that's the responsibility of the petitioner or us. I'd like to get clarification from Mr. Dodson, but I feel relatively comfortable that only having to have 4 of those based on the numbers that were submitted to me of the 24 to be found to be property owners seems like I say all this, having been publicly supportive of VSD, first time I remain publicly supportive of VSD. If I lived out of the city limits, I would be voting for it for this program.
Okay, well, Commissioners, let me just start off by saying, after reading the statute, it's not very well written. That's my opinion. But it also says that this whole chapter is to be liberally construed and to achieve the purpose of this chapter. So whenever I see that in the statute, that's pretty vague. As to your question of who is to decide the validity of the signatures and property owners, it does not speak to that. What it does speak to visually down the line in section 775.016 regarding the hearing. Section A in part states that the Commissioners Court shall consider the petition and each issue relating to the creation of the district. So I'm assuming that each issue is going to be determining whether or not the petition has met statutory requirements, which are clearly outlined in section 775.013. It goes on to state in section 775.016, in section C, that the Commissioners Court has exclusive jurisdiction to determine each issue relating to the creation of the district, and may issue incidental orders it considers proper in relation to the issue before the Commissioners Court. Also allows the Commissioners Court to adjourn the hearing as necessary. That tells me you have quite a bit. Number one, you're the decision makers for any issues in relation to this petition. How you go about it does not give us any guidance. So it does not tell us who is to determine property ownership, who is to determine voter qualification. Obviously, that's been done because we have an easy mechanism to check the voter rolls. Mr. Rick, you have a point regarding property ownership. There is community property rights in Texas. There is corporate ownership, and those things are an issue. But who is to provide an opinion on that? The statute is not clear. But I think it leaves it up to you all to determine what's sufficient. You're also supposed to determine whether the legal description is sufficient. What metric you use there, it doesn't say. It's broad. From a legal real estate perspective, it wouldn't work for a deed, but I realize we're not in that context now. We're in a context of creating a district with an area way larger than what would be stated in a real property transaction. So let's say all that too is you've got quite a bit of leeway in that, but you have due diligence ultimately. You have the ultimate, you are the ultimate decider of the legal ordinance during this hearing. The questions raised, whether or not you feel they've been satisfied, that's left up to you if you have that information to make that decision. Because the requirements for the approval of the petition, it goes on to state after all of that in 775.017, it says after the hearing, the court finds the creation of the district is feasible and will promote the public safety, welfare, and health of the communities and persons residing in the proposed district. You shall grant the petition. And I think you have to get to the first step, so does the petition meet the statutory requirements first? Before you get to the step of, is it something we can do, and does it make sense for the health and safety of the community? That's a good one.
So, because I had posed the question because, like I said, I feel individually comfortable that highly unlikely that there are at least 4 out of the 24 that are theoretically not property owners. I find it hard to believe that there's not more than 4. But at the same time, I realize the only thing that we have done proactively for any of these is in our wheelhouse is the voter registration portion. And so I also understood that I guess next Monday is the drop dead date for any item on the ballot for November. So even if we chose to do the extra due diligence, we have until next Monday, that's it, regardless of what we decided, what we were predisposed to decide today.
I don't know what
I
that.
confirmed that with the work today, that we did.
So, I mean, that's an issue kind of outside the statute, really. That's just a time issue. I don't know the facts.
When you're talking through, we only have two things we need to decide. Qualified voters, and we got a certification that that is correct, and our property owners. It's unclear whether all of them are property owners. We do have time to get that certification.
Theoretically.
Practicality, and I think we can get that certification. We need to do it right. The petition needs to be right. Some of the other deals about the legal description, I read the legal description, I understand where you're coming from. It doesn't mean, but I understood the spirit and intent of what the district was. I could understand what that was. So, I don't have a problem with the description, because I go back to the spirit and intent. It talks about joining the different ESDs. And I think, true democracy, we let the public decide whether it is. But we have to follow the law and making sure the petition is correct.
It's not, your definition of two issues, one of which is the weather law, is a statutory requirement.
It is.
Yes, sir. In 775.013, there's a list of 7 requirements that a petition must fulfill.
And the date.
It doesn't state a date on it.
So the absence of a date may not mean that signature is fatal to the petition.
But it does clearly state subsection 6, A6, that the mailing address of each petition must be on the petition. I have not reviewed the entire petition, so I can't comment on those matters.
John?
Yes,
I didn't hear you, but you mentioned discretion, Commissioner's Court discretion. So what are the possibilities of excluding rain wells from ESD number 3?
that's a good question, and I really, as I read through it, we also have an issue of municipalities, but I don't know if they've been, I don't know that part either, but whether we've done their due diligence on that, but, and ETJs. But specifically excluding, there is portions of this law that allows counties of certain sizes to negotiate the jurisdiction of ESDs. But those are million, and we don't qualify for those there. So now we're in the realm of a statute that doesn't necessarily address the question. It doesn't say exclusion of cats, coverage, American wells, jurisdiction, fire department, their jurisdiction. One way you can try to analyze that is, because it is a petition, it has a description of the areas to be included in the petition that you presented to the voter, to the signers, that describes the area to be included in the petition. And somebody like Mr. White, who's in it, realizing his property or his area is going to be included in it, or it doesn't, it can be confusing because there's notice that has to be posted. 21 days notice, furniture is done by statute, sheriff is posted, paper. In my experience, when you get into that realm of posting notice and presenting people with a petition, you better be active. And if you go and change it without some statutory authority to do so, again, achieve the purpose of the statute. It puts all of you in a position of having to sort through the not clear guidance. And whereas in one of other statutes, it says text from A, B, C, D, E, and you don't think those, that's it. But I rarely have I seen one that starts off with the second section of the statute that says middle construction.
As far as certification is concerned, is it possible for us to recess this meeting, give time for regular certification, come back?
Yes, under section 775.016, here, title here, subsection C says, ordinance exclusive jurisdiction determining the issue and enforcement may adjourn the hearing as necessary.
That's a possibility that you can do that.
Yes, I believe that gives you latitude to do any
My
right.
recommendation is that we recess this meeting, not now, at the conclusion of our agenda, where we have some things we have to do. That we recess this meeting 12 noon tomorrow, which time we take it up. She's already spoken.
This is a line.
Is that something that's already considered?
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion to recess this meeting after you conclude the other portion of the agenda and reset it at 12 noon tomorrow?
Let me be clear, so we're going to make sure that the requirements that be a valid petition, we won't address what the petition is. I mean, what are
What we
your
want to do
promises?
is make sure the certification is
We've certified half, we've certified one requirement, so we need to certify the other one. Correct. Yes, sir.
Satisfied? Motion to recess at the conclusion of the other portion of this meeting.
Also,
Sorry. Second.
Second.
Discussion among everybody.
Aye.
Okay. At the conclusion of this agenda, we will recess, not adjourn. Come back and let's go back and pick up the issue of the consolidation of the act. Sorry, two signatures. You both. Yes, sir. We'll go back and pick up item number 6, and that's a report from the EMS director and efficiency. Stephen, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm excited to bring to you that we are now wearing 1 unit of O positive low type blood within our organization that utilize in trauma situations and severe hemorrhage medical situations. We are part of the South Proposed West Texas Regional Advisory Council on Trauma. We have a consortium, we're part of their consortium now on carrying full blood. And we are super excited. I will tell you that this is probably the best practice that has ever come pre-hospital medicine in all the years of the pre-hospital EMS has been on. This is moving the whole unit, whole blood. Carries oxygen, carries the lymphocytes, carries the platelets. It's not, you know, the blood's not, you know, we don't have plaque. It's all included in this one unit of blood. We keep this blood in this cooler. This cooler is frozen overnight, and then we have another cooler, and it gets exchanged every 24 hours. We keep the blood between 33 and 42 degrees Fahrenheit. It has a temperature stick that automatically is connected to our Wi-Fi. It's offline right now because we have the blood with us. So I have my crew here in case they need to grab the blood, they can just take it and go on. But again, one of the most innovative things that has arrived in the realm of ambulance and ambulance.
There's whole blood right there.
There's whole blood right here in this
What
text.
type is it?
O positive, O type. Now, is it universal? Not really, but it is low titer. We can give blood from 3 to however old, 3 years of age to however old, we can administer blood. In this pack, we also have our blood warmer. So it's warm blood as we give it. And it has all the paperwork too in the back. I'm not going to open it up because I don't want to disturb it too much. Because normally we keep it about 5.3, 5.4. We've taken it on 3 calls, I believe, as of today, but have not needed to utilize it, thankfully. But we do have some of the questions I've been asked is what if it's, you know, you have 2 bad calls and the blood goes on the first call that might need it, and they don't need it, but another call comes in and that blood is needed there. We have a tracker on this blood so we know where it's at all times. So we can actually, hey, we'll send that whole unit of blood to the next call. So, again, Dr. Donald Jenkins worked the battlefields of Iraq, Afghanistan, surgeon. He's a member of the regional advisory council. He works at the Fort Army Medical Center, and he brought this innovation to us. It was a minimal process. It's been going on for 6 or 7 years, but we were to the point where we were ready to bring it on. We went, my guys did the test, we went through 2 months of just rotating a normal safety bag through the computer so that become road memory, because we treat this blood like it's gold. It's O positive, low titer is very rare. And so we want to make sure the blood also has a green dot on it, so we always know that as long as that dot's green, it's still useful. If that dot numbers around, it's not useful. We're in a 14-day rotation system, so this blood gets rotated out every 14 days. It's good for 33 days. So we rotate it back into San Antonio. They bring us a fresh unit, and then pick up this unit, and then they take it to one of the trauma centers in San Antonio so that it'll get utilized and not expire. That's part of the process. We want to make sure that we never hold up that blood and lose a unit of blood because it gets past its expiration date. So again, I left y'all little packets, snippets that on that just the first page. If you want to learn more, there's a ton of videos within and it's going to be extract.org/blood. Please go look if you have time. I didn't want to inundate you with a bunch of papers, but go look, check it out. There's some videos there. It's very informative. It's very exciting. The second page is this right here. It's Heroes in Arms initially. This started out as Brothers in Arms. There were a lot of low-titer gentlemen in the San Antonio area. They realized they were leaving out a demographic population of females. So they changed it from Brothers in Arms to Heroes in Arms. So we'll be, hopefully within the next month or two, we'll have a blood drive. If anybody's so positive, please don't be up. And so just to let you know that that's what the program is called here locally, is Heroes in Arms. We are, the region as a whole, across all the counties, is a nationwide leader in whole blood. The whole blood summit is always in San Antonio once a year. And so, you know, we are, this region is cutting edge for what the docs brought back from overseas. page of your handout, is a graph. It's got us listed, but this is everywhere that there's whole lot of helicopters, hospitals, and ambulances within our region. So as you can see, we're kind of a dot out 90 miles. Community in Hondo has it, Kenny County has it by birth. So all of Highway 90 now has whole blood, at least one unit. LaSalle County to our south is the next closest. They have 2 units just because of where their proximity is between Laredo and San Antonio. There's 44 ground ambulance providers that have whole blood on their units, 20 aeromedical providers, and then there's 4 outside providers that outside of the region that also carry whole blood. So again, I just wanted to bring this innovation, this great care that we can now provide to the community to your attention. I'll also be giving a presentation to the city council as well. Just wanted to let y'all know that we're part of something great within our region. People ask about reimbursement, but we don't get reimbursed for this whole blood. This whole blood has a pretty hefty price tag to it, but life is not worth whatever price we pay for that. It's worth more than that. So we're not worried about the price tag. There was some legislation passed. We may get reimbursement moving forward, starting September 1. I'm not for sure how that's going to play out, but there was a whole blood across Texas push during the legislative session. So we might get some reimbursement eventually. Yes, Medicare already gave us a base rate of ALS2, and all they did was include blood in that. So we didn't get any effective reimbursement increase for giving. But again, life is more valuable than what that blood costs. So, Judge Mitchell, did you have something?
Yeah, you're talking about having a blood drive in the future.
Yes, sir.
Now, South Texas comes down here and does their blood drive.
Yes.
It's okay, but you still benefit from those blood drives.
That is correct. Wherever that blood drive is, it's South Texas Blood and Tissue. And you can go to the ones the hospital has, wherever that blood drive is, it's still
You're going to have
benefits.
one. You're going to sponsor.
I'm going to sponsor one probably. I got to get with the bank. The bank's a good location. But like I said, that blood is within our system. So anywhere you get blood, the South Texas Blood and Tissue is. If you have O positive, low titer blood, they need it. They're kind of heroes in arms.
Truly commend you and value that practice.
Yes. Like I said, we did some studies over the years. We believe we might use 10 to 12 units a year. That's fine. We may not use it, or, we just don't know how many times we use it. But we have it, and that's all that matters. Yeah, I totally agree. Some questions come up about females and childbearing years. Know that, low titers and RH positive, O positive, low titers, still RH positive, kind of have to be a little concerned about that. How we're still, even if a female of childbearing years is still RH negative, we're going to get that blood. There are ways to combat that in a medical facility. So we're not going to worry about that. Okay, we have steps in place as part of the process of the paperwork trail we have to push through the whole system. So, again, I'm just super excited about it. I've been doing this 40 years, and this is the proudest thing that I've ever brought to it. I'm just going to be honest.
Congratulations.
And so we've come a long ways, but like I said, I've seen a lot of, hey, what we did back then, circular, this will never go away.
Don't lose that back.
Yeah, don't lose that back. So, it really is amazing that it's called a tip on the inside of that canvas bag. It's called a tip. Tipped your enclosed, device. And it's full of water, so it freezes. We have a freezer. We keep it in the freezer for 24 hours, and it will hold this 5 to 5.8 for at least a 32-hour period. But it's very innovative. We have 2 of them, in fact, we're taking out of 24 hours. And like I said, I'd love to open it, but I don't want to destroy it. But man, just super excited. Thank you to our board of directors, Johnny and Wendy, 7 of our board of directors. They authorized me to proceed with this. I want to thank them specifically for letting me run with them all, so to speak, because we think this will be beneficial. Remember, we also provided LS backup to a lot of outlying to our north and to our south. So that flood may be used even for, somebody who resides in a different county. I'm okay with that. It's for our area. It's not just for Uvalde, it's for our area. And we can replace this flood if we give it and we go into San Antonio, we can replace it right then, or let me back out 3 hours with another unit of blood. Again, helicopters carry blood, we can also direct some of their blood if we need it. So both helicopters here carry the same blood, O positive, O titer, O blood. So any further questions? Again, thank you. I know y'all had long here. I thank you for letting me speak today.
Thank you so much. Is there a motion to accept this report? Mr. Gordon, is there a second? Second. Mr. Gordon, discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Steve. We really appreciate it. Go back and pick up item number 2, citizen communication. I think you want to speak.
Deanna Little Peru. I wanted to address the court this morning regarding your budget. I should continue to move forward to consider the budget items that have been presented to you. I would like to once again ask that you choose to provide the raises for the county clerk's office. I think it was very admirable that the employees of that department came before you themselves personally, spoke on their own behalf, and it is an effort that has been going on for at least the last 2 or 3 years. And the employees in that department, as do all county employees, not taking anything away from anyone else, but they are the lowest wages, do not get the benefit of some of the large stipends that other departments get. And as one commissioner and I have talked, they are depleting their available funds for record keeping, and it's not a sustainable resource for the county clerk to use. And so the solution is for this court to give those raises, but not give those raises using the COLA to do so. These individuals need to be able to have the benefit of the COLA as your other employees will, but raise the salary so they can have more resources with which to provide for themselves and their families. I'm also concerned that once again the Resiliency Center budget is not on the budget. One of the things that I've been told by county commissioners is that these are grants, they're pass-throughs, you know. Every single dollar that runs through the Uvalde County bank accounts and accounts through your auditor and treasurer, they're managing those funds for the county, should be public information to the citizens of this community. And I don't understand why the Resiliency Center is not one of those budgets. The grants that you receive for colonial work, where are those budgets? Why are we not able to see what is going on with those funds? I don't think that's a good argument that they're pass-through dollars. You are managing them. We should be able to have access to the information. I do want to take the opportunity to thank Commissioner Copeland for your remarks regarding the ESD. I appreciate it.
We have no other speakers for this morning. We'll move to item number 7, and that's to consider next on approving amended tax calendar. The only change in there are posting deadlines. That's not really effective before. It's item that the Alderman and I will do internally. So it is a change to your planning calendar.
No, we're pushing it
Oh,
back.
there you are.
Yeah, no. The treasurer taught me. I got stuck in between the bond sales and the.
Go ahead. Now,
The major change is moving the budget, the final budget, farther out. And You'll see presentation of final budget has changed to August 25th. Adoption of final budget is changed to September 7th, which changes miscellaneous supplementary publications that have to be done. That's it. The tax rate's still on the 22nd. We could do it all the 22nd, but we're used to doing them a section at a time, so that's what this is about.
Questions about the change?
So,
Motion to accept.
So,
Mr. Gabriel, second. Mr. Rogers, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 8 is consider and act upon the sheriff's office of justice contract with Superior Technology. How do you know that?
yes, sir. I visited with the sheriff. Everywhere I should go. I visited with the sheriff and with our representative from Security Sally Boyd, her last name's difficult. As you recall, you just signed an amendment to the FCC of the federal government. Decided that a portion of the amendment was not going to be reversed. In other words, the short version is we're going to get less money than we thought we were going to get, but not as low as we were before. They've taken away the funding fees. Funding fees will no longer be allowed. However, commissions are going to want to run, and Brandon can correct me if I'm wrong, but they're going to run, I believe, about 51%. And there is. Now they'll go back to paying commission on funds that is now set at 51% instead of 90%, 90%. Which about, I think Johnny will correct me, was about 100,000 general fund and close to that in the commissary fund. It is one of those federal, not a choice, but we did need it before court. So I will file the original with the clerk and return the copies to the sheriff with your approval. I
approve.
Oh, sorry.
You heard the explanation.
I have a question. Now, I'm confused. We addressed this June the 23rd,
Yes, sir.
and it was going to go, we were going to get cut way back on it. And,
Actually, June the 23rd, it appeared that we were going to.
but you're
But
saying now
Trump
we're not.
changed his mind,
FCC is changed.
This is
and the
better than what it was.
FCC changed their mind. And what we really thought we were going to get is still not as bad off as what it had been lowered to. At first, we were not going to be able to charge any inmate any airtime on a cell phone. We would provide it.
Like $7,500, $8,000 a month or something, we didn't cut back.
Absolutely,
Because I know it was.
absolutely. And now,
Now we're going to get something.
this representative, we've been working with her, and I've been with them as they've done it. Have been real good to the county with their commissions. The sheriff wants to add anything to that. It caught me by surprise, so I wanted to get it on the agenda and get it signed.
Just to, good morning, just to echo on what Alice said, the FCC had a ruling back, I think in May, where they felt that the permit per call to 9 cents. Well, somebody challenged that ruling, and that's when FCC amended that last ruling, saying, okay, now we're going to go back to 21 cents. This amendment will be good up until 2027, April 2027. So as Alice said, we're still going to be losing money, but it's not going to be on this back.
Questions about Alice or the sheriff? Is there a motion to make this amendment?
That's so good.
Mr. Cook, second.
second.
Mr. Yeager, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item number 9
Documents will be filed with the clerk. Each person gets a certificate. I think print your own too, but we have actually the whole set. for the clerk. So we're pleased to report that. This is for grants. That bond we just did, all of that requires is, yes, sir.
Any questions? Is there a motion to accept the report and certification? Commissioner Vargas, is there a second? Commissioner Copeland, discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. We go to item number 10, and that's the road administrator's report.
Morning, Judge. Morning, Commissioners. This report is going to be from July 24th to August the 6th. We bladed roads. We bladed 11 roads in precincts 2, 3, and 4, mostly because of the flood. And then patching potholes on County Road 348, 357, 358, 359, Uvalde Estates, Avenues J, C, D, and E in Canapa, Utopia Independent School District parking lot. We've been cutting brush on 405 and 409. We cut grass on 400. We fixed washouts on County Roads 303, 309, 312, 328, 340, 341, 342, 344, 406, basically what I call is the gate all in between that side line. We did maintenance repairs, removed equipment from County Roads 201, 405, 409, 410, and 412. Also County Roads 202 and 409, and County Roads 408 and 312. Went from County Roads 347 to 343, and from County Roads 312 to 313. Back from County Roads 409 and 201. The return crossings on County Road 202, 348, 406, 409, and 412. Replaced lighted off mailbox up on County Road 428. We've assisted DOC moving equipment purchased from the Texas Facilities Commission Federal Surplus Property Program in San Antonio to Uvalde County Yard. And I provided the Texas Department of Emergency Management, TDM, representative with copies of daily activity reports, outstanding invoices, paid invoices, preliminary estimates for continued road repairs, and for consideration and inclusion in the presidential disaster declaration. And hopefully the Uvalde County gets disaster relief efforts.
And have you heard anything from FEMA yet?
I haven't heard anything from FEMA. So,
Anything from FEMA?
Good morning. So Uvalde County has submitted all the documentation up through, I guess, the last 7 days, from July 13th ongoing. All the work that the Uvalde County Road Department has completed, continuing and ongoing. We've also received information from the Sheriff's Department on their emergency services that we're working on the 13th and 14th, coupling with, the flood event. So all that documentation, all those daily activity reports have been submitted to TDM. Okay? TDM is responsible for submitting that to FEMA. We're expecting any day to get a kickoff meeting with FEMA. We have not heard anything from them as of today that is pending. Uvalde County has more than met their threshold of $115,000. It's in their report. We're waiting for them to reply back to us.
Question? Thank you. Is there a motion to accept the road administrator's report?
That's so good.
Commissioner Copeland, is there a second? Commissioner Vargas, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 11, consider that on the line of budget amendment. We have number 12 is consider an action upon payment of bills. Had an opportunity to review approval of monthly reports. Motion approved. So, Commissioner Yeagle, is there a second? Second. Commissioner Marshall, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Before we conclude, we're not adjourned, before we conclude this agenda, I do have some resolutions I have to submit. Close this meeting, adjourn, recess this meeting, in memory of Dr. John C. Barnes. Johnny Garcia, Alan Salazar, Brenda Robles, Patricia C. Schaefer, Olivia R. Lowry. I will remind you that we're going to recess this meeting 12 until 12 noon tomorrow, which will come back and take